Can you pull up the rankings for me? Look, I know we had this conversation the other day about the 155-pound rankings in the UFC. So now that it's fully laid out, and they've got the rankings there. We've talked about Khabib being gone, so realistically, it just comes into
He's
the
gone.
dust. Yeah, now it comes into Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
Dustin Poirier, and I'm a big fan of Dustin. I appreciate Dustin. I trained a long time ago back with Dustin and Frankie Edgars, and I've said that 1,000 times. But for all of our new listeners, I respect him a lot. From when I knew him back when he fought at 45, and I trained with him. He's just a humble, good kid to be around. And I love everything he's done with his career. He had said some stuff today about how they should just give him the title. And I'm like, it doesn't work that way. Like Dustin. I think it'd be cool if they did, but they will never do that.
I mean, it's happened. Let's be honest. Okay. There was times when, Ronda Rousey, they gave her the title. She was the Strikeforce champion.
I thought she fought for it against Liz Carmouche.
No, they gave her the title before. She said, I don't want it.
Yeah.
I want to win it in the cage, but they gave it to her.
Didn't they do that with Jose Aldo?
Yes, did the same thing with Aldo. That's the second one I'm going to say.
Yeah. Oh, Aldo, though, he to me, I felt like he had earned it.
Absolutely. I agree. Same thing.
They also didn't have a weight class. Did they? They didn't have that weight class, right? The UFC didn't have 145 until the WC came over.
No, I think when it all switched over, that's when it all cashed out.
Yeah. So I can understand
55 was the different one. They had a 155-pound weight class, and the WEC guys came over, and there was a big clash of the talent pools between that.
Yeah. The WC guys took over.
I remember the champion was at that time, Pettis had just taken it from Benson Henderson.
Yeah.
And Clay Guida.
Yes.
Let's be honest, Clay Guida.
He beat him. Yeah. So he beat him, but then after that, Benson and Pettis became champion.
This is true.
So yeah, I do recall. But then they came over and they had success, and
they did.
They're talented fighters. When you come down to this list, though, I say Dustin. I still believe it's going to be Chandler, just because they were both on the same card. They both had knockouts. I think it's going to be Chandler. I just don't think that Charles Oliveira sparks people's interest enough right now to make it a marketable fight. Pay-per-view numbers will drop if they put Charles Oliveira in there. Nobody knows him as much
compared to, especially with what Chandler did. Mm-hmm. In that fight against Dan Hooker, it does help elevate the ability to sell based upon what they can put out there now. Because, it's kind of funny as you're watching that fight before it happens, you're seeing nothing on Michael Chandler. Now, you and I have watched Michael fight, 20 times, but they had no film because they couldn't put it out, that they don't own it. And so they're putting out training film and things like that. Now they have a highlight, and that's really what it takes. Give me one good highlight, I can make you a star. As long as you do your part, and that's what he did. So they have a good highlight to do it, and people are going to remember him, and they love the backflip off of the top of the cage, especially with, that was a high amplitude jump.
Yeah.
I was kind of worried he's going to blow out a knee too when he's landed, but
drives me crazy when the fighters do that. I'm like,
I know, it's crazy.
You guys look at what happened to Johnny Walker.
Yeah,
and that was doing the shoulder. That was doing the watermelon crawl. Come on, guys. You guys are jumping off the top of the cage doing a backflip. Please stop doing that. You're killing me.
No.
You're killing me. Okay. Your career's this long in your whole life. You're just going to make it smaller. Just stop doing it.
Stand on top of it if you want. Turn around, jump straight down.
I really do believe that they're going to put Michael Chandler, and it's no knock on Charles Oliveira. It is a knock to him that they're doing that to him. But simple fact of the matter is, if you click on Charles Oliveira, I can't tell you who his last opponent before Tony Ferguson was.
Kevin Lee.
Okay. That was exactly. Kevin Lee's on what skid? Kevin Lee hasn't won in a while. That's my point. My point is that it doesn't make sense to give someone who's coming off. He's good. Don't get me wrong. Nick Lentz just lost. Jared Gordon, Kevin Lee, Tony Ferguson. No, they're not going to give him. No, Jim Miller. You should not give him a title shot.
How do you put a guy that has one fight with one win,
former multiple-time world champion,
against someone when you've got a guy that is on an 8-fight win streak? Is it 8 or 9? It's one of the two.
2, 4, 6, 8.
Yeah, 8.
8-fight win streak.
Yeah.
Come on.
Okay, wait, stop. I'm gonna take all those guys. Not one of those guys was ranked higher than Dan Hooker.
Okay.
So that means what? That means no. You're saying you're trying to compare all the guys that Michael Chandler has beaten, and he's a former world champion. That to me is more marketable than anything that Oliveira's done.
Ferguson was ranked where for how long?
Yeah, I agree with you. I do. But he was also coming off a loss, and the confidence was killed.
Yeah, well,
I got to be honest. Look, I'm not a fan of Michael Chandler, but I've got to pitch the story, man. I've got to pitch the fact that if I'm going to compare, and I'm looking at it from both ways. I'm looking at it from the UFC's point of view in terms of making money, John. And the point of them making money. Let's be honest. That's
the whole thing.
That's the storyline.
That's number one.
When it comes down to what's going to sell, that fight's going to sell more than Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier for the title. That's all that people need to hear. And realistically, when I'm sitting there going, hey, do I want to see a grappler fight a striker and potentially get him taken down in submission? Or do I want to see two guys slug it out and get knockouts? Hell yeah. I'll take that fight. That's exactly what's going on. If I was gonna say, hey, I'm not mad at Michael Chandler versus Justin Gaethje either. If Oliveira's to get the fight, let me see the Justin Gaethje and Michael Chandler fight. Sign me up. Hello, I'll take that all day long. But you're talking for the championship title that the person has vacated, Khabib, then they're going to have to do something that's explosive. You need to show that you have two guys out there that are phenomenal fighters that want to throw down to replace the champion that you know is 29-0. That just vacated the title because he was basically bored and walked away from the sport. You know, I mean, I know he lost his dad. There's a story behind it. I get it.
Yeah.
But the bottom line is that, like he said, when he walked up to Dana, he's like, Dana, let's be honest. None of these guys are on my level.
Come on, you gotta be honest. How fucking just straight out gangster is that statement when you think about it?
Yes.
Hey, be honest. They're not on my level. It's like, oh, but he can actually say it. And look, the number one guy in the division is Dustin Poirier.
Yeah.
No doubt about it. He proved that in his fight against Conor. And he did have that one guillotine attempt, but other than that, Khabib just owned him in that fight. And
look, I think the fact that you can market that Michael Chandler came over from Bellator as the former champion, multiple-time world champion, comes over, gets a phenomenal knockout against Dan Hooker, made him look like he didn't belong in there. And the fact is that would be the fight to fight. And the other thing as well, how many eyes were on that fight that night because of Conor McGregor and Dustin? Don't get me wrong, right. And Dustin.
How many? I agree.
And so more people probably know Michael Chandler right now than they know Charles Oliveira.
Yeah, it's possible. 1.6 million pay-per-view buys is what they're saying. So.
More people know who Michael Chandler is now because of that night. He was a co-main event. It was the second most talked about fight on that card, obviously. But it really just came down to the fact that he performed, and when the bottom line is when you're looking at the UFC, they're going to say, hey, which fight's going to make us the most money right now? That fight. It's not going to be Charles Oliveira and Dustin Poirier. Okay. And then after that, you've got probably Charles Oliveira fighting Justin Gaethje. You have that as the co-main event because if someone gets COVID, hey, at least you can bump one of those guys up there. You're going to have a barn burner with Justin Gaethje, but if they'd put Charles up there, unless Charles is the one who got COVID, and somebody else if they both got COVID. So I don't know. But to me, that'd be a good fight to have. A good co-main event would be Oliveira versus Gaethje. And then you have the Chandler versus Dustin. That'd be your top four guys are fighting right there.
It'll be interesting to see. We'll find, eventually within a couple weeks, maybe a month, we'll find out.
Yeah. Yeah. But I look at Chandler didn't take any shots. Justin took a couple shots, but he's got like a little bit of a mark here and there. He'll be ready to go within 3 months. He could fight probably in 4 if he wanted to.
Yep.
So go back, you take a week or two off, enjoy his $1.2 million payday with his family, and and then come back and try to win that title, baby. That's really what it comes down. I'm happy for him. I'm so happy for Dustin.
I think that Dustin just needs to look at the fact that hey, he's the number one driver in the seat. Mm-hmm. To get that title. No one's going to give it to him.
No.
And I don't think he wants it given to him. Obviously, he's earned it through his actions, or he's at least earned the right to be the guy that's in that cage when that belt is on the line. But, you know, it's always better when you win the fight. When he beat Max Holloway for the interim belt, you know, what can anyone say? He deserves it. You know, he deserves that. But when someone hands you something, it just doesn't look the same. It doesn't seem the same, and people don't respect it in the same manner.
Yeah. Yeah. I'm excited. Look, I want the best for him. I really like Dustin. I think he'll make a phenomenal champion.
So hold it. Are you saying that you are going to root for Dustin Poirier over? Oh, no, yeah, I guess you would.
I would. I'd root for him over Oliveira, and I'd root for him over Chandler and some of the other guys.
I know, and it's you know, hey, that's. And this is what's funny. A lot of people are like, I can't believe that you like that person. Everyone's got people that they like. You know, there's styles they like. There's attitudes they like. There's personalities they like, and there's ones that they don't. That's just the way the world is.
Yeah, I will root for Dustin. Let me see in those rankings there. I will root for him until Islam Makhachev gets up there.
He's got a couple that he's going to have to get back. He's a couple fights away, but if he performs well, you know, and that guy is phenomenal. You know how good he is. It's just a matter. There is a difference between him and his mentor or his friend, you know, Habib, and their ability to do it under the lights.
Yeah.